Hello guys, welcome to this video. So in this video we will look at how to build out a image editor inside React.js, which will be useful if you want to blur your image or pixelate your image. Both these scenarios we will look here. So this is actually the demo of the application of what we will be building in this video. So we have a choose file button where the user will simply select the image file that they want to edit. So we have coded this inside Bootstrap framework. So we have a choose file button. So here you will select your JPG or PNG file. So let me select it and you will see these controls. After you select it, we have the two sliders if you want to blur your image, and then there is a button out there of apply effects. You can control the amount of blur that you can add here using the slider, and as soon as you click the button you will see the live preview, and then you can simply download this edited image by clicking the download button. So now your image is successfully saved. So in this way, and similarly you have the next one. If you want to pixelate your image, you have the second slider, and then if you click the button you will see the image is little bit pixelated. You can control the amount of pixelation using the slider, and once again click the download button to download the output image. So it will look something like this. So we will try to build this application from scratch in this video. So now to get started, actually we are using the concept of Canvas API. So if you just write Canvas API, it actually, you can read more about it. So we can actually draw the image on the canvas, and then we can blur the image and also pixelate the image. Both these filters we can add it. So now to get started, we just need to initialize a very basic React.js project. I've already done that. So now you just need to install the React Bootstrap module if you want to use Bootstrap inside your React.js application. So this is actually the command that you want to instantiate, npmi React Bootstrap. So simply execute this command and install React Bootstrap inside your project. So I've already done that. So I will start the development server, npm run dev. So I will start it from scratch. So now we need to first of all have a functional component. So if you refresh your application, you will see this auto refreshes. So now for the application, we need some state variables. For the first one, we need a image variable where we will keep track of which image the user has selected. For this, we will be using the useState hook of React.js. Initial value will be null. And we also will be having variables for storing the blur and the pixelate. So again we'll be having one more variable for blur amount, set blur amount, and again we'll be using useState hook, and the initial value for the blur will be 0 when you load the application for the very first time, and then once again we will have the variable for keep track of how much pixelation the user will select, so pixel size, and similarly set pixel size. Initial value once again will be 0, and then we also need have a canvas reference because we will be drawing the image on the canvas, so that's why we need to use this useRef hook. It will be imported here. You can import this useRef hook from the base React library. You can see we have done that. So these are the variables we will need for this application. First is the actual image the user will select. Second is the blur amount, pixel size, and the actual canvas reference. So these are the four variables which are needed for this application. Now we will actually write the HTML which will be required. So in the JSX, inside this div, we will use the container. This will be imported from React Bootstrap that we actually installed. So we have the container class of Bootstrap. Inside this we will use the row class, and we need to give it a class name of Bootstrap. So we also have the column class as well. Inside this, we will have a simple h3 tag which will say image blur and pixelate editor. After this, we will have a simple form, bootstrap form.group, and inside this, we will give it a control ID. This control ID, we will use it whenever we want to get the reference of this file. So we give it an ID to this element, and we will be having a form label. So here we will be showing the user what to do. So we need to select an image here, and after this we will be having a form control. So inside this form control, we will allow the user to simply select the image file. So type parameter will be of file. We will be only be accepting images files, so we'll simply say here image slash star. We'll only be accepting image files, and if you just refresh your application, uh, Bootstrap will not be applied. We need to include the CSS file for this also. So just you need to import the Bootstrap dist CSS bootstrap main.css. For this, you do need to install the Bootstrap base package, which is npm. You can install this using npm I bootstrap. You also need the base package as well alongside with the React Bootstrap library. So I've already installed these two packages. So now after that, you can import the CSS file using this package. So if you refresh now, you will see the Bootstrap classes will be applied. And now you will see this choose file button where you can simply select your image file. So after you select the image file, we also need to show the live preview of the actual image which is selected by the user. For that, we will be binding an onChange event handler to this input field. So we will be executing a function, write this custom function handle file input. Now we just need to define this function which is handle file input, so that when you select the image file, e parameter will automatically be passed to this function. So inside this function, we will read actually the image file. For reading it, we simply first of all need to get access to the file, which we will use e.target.files. This will actually get access to the file which the user has selected. Then we'll have a if condition that if the file is a valid file, then in that case, read it using the file reader API. And then reader.onload. It's a very basic process by which we get access to the image which is selected. Reader.result, and reader read as data URL. We are using the base 64 code of the image. So in this way, we can actually read the file. So after you do this, you just need to show the image in the browser with live preview. So we can simply, after this row, we can simply have a JSX expression right here. If the image is selected, in that case, we will simply write this JSX expression and the row, give it a class name. We will have a column tag. We will give it on medium devices. We need to have a 6 column structure, and inside this, basically we will have the label for the blur amount. So when you select the image, we will actually show all these controls. So this control will be responsible for controlling the amount of blur that you want to do. So this will be a slider. So here the input type is range because it's a slider. It will minimum value is 0, max is 10. So if you select the image now, you will see this blur amount. This is actually a slider. You can see that. Similarly, we will have the second slider. Again, the column structure will be 6. This time, this slider will be responsible for controlling the pixel size. So again, it's a type range, minimum 0, max 20. So here we have provided this disabled attribute. This will only be disabled if the pixel size that you see is greater than 1. So it will be disabled if the blur amount is greater than 0. So it simply means that at one time you can only control blur or pixel. You can't. So at one moment of time you can only control blur or pixel size. So both these sliders are now appearing. Now we need a simple button to submit the form. So after you do this, we will have another row. Inside this, we will have a button, bootstrap button. We will have this apply effects label on that button. So the button variant will be having the primary button, and we can basically bind an on-click listener. When we click this button, we need to execute a function which I will simply make, which will be apply effect. So it's a custom function, and we just need to make this function right here. Just define it. So if you now select the image file, so it is saying that button is not defined. So you do need to import the button. So I think this needs to be button. So if you select the image now, you will see this button and the two sliders. So now what we need to do, also after this button and this row, we also need to have the canvas as well, to draw the image on the canvas. And we will basically have a canvas tag, and we attach the reference here, the canvas reference that we declared early on, and we are just having a max width 100%, 1 pixel solid. So this canvas reference we have declared early on. If you see the useRef hook, it is null by default. We are just attaching it to the canvas tag using this ref attribute. So now to both these sliders that you see, the blur slider and the pixel slider, we do need to attach the current value. The current value will be getting it from the variable blur amount, those two variables that we declared, and the pixel amount. Sorry, this is pixel size. So these two use state variables we have declared. If you see blur amount and pixel size, we are just attaching it to the HTML, the JSX. And also we do need to attach on change event handler as well. So when you change the value of the slider, this event handler will automatically execute the function. And here you will be setting the pixel size, the hook function, and whatever is the value, e.target.value. So you'll be doing this same thing for the blur amount as well. So this will be set blur amount e.target.value. That's all. So now they are both connected, and now inside the apply effects function, when we click the button, this function will get executed, And here we do need to get the reference of the canvas. So we can simply say canvas ref. We need to get the current reference, and then we need to get the context, 2D context of the canvas. So we can easily get the context by using this method get context. After getting the context, we can draw this image on the canvas by using the image constructor, and then we can simply say image.source image. This is a very basic code. We do this a lot in the browser. So inside this image onload function, we will draw this image on the canvas. First of all, we need to set the width and height of the canvas. So it will be similar to the image width, whatever is the original width of the image, and the height. So canvas height will be equal to image.height. After setting the dimensions of the canvas, now we can simply draw the image on the canvas by using this function, which is draw rectangle. But before that, we also need to clear the previous image by using the clear rectangle function. And here you need to specify the dimensions x coordinate, y coordinate, 0, 0, and then the canvas width and the canvas height. So this we are calling because we do need to clear the previous image. So for clearing the previous image, we are using this function clear rectangle. So this will clear out the canvas. Now we can draw the image on the canvas. So here we are simply comparing that if the pixel size is greater than 1, in that case the user has selected the pixelate effect. For doing that, we will draw the image on the canvas by using this function draw image, and here we will be drawing the image. X coordinate, y coordinate again will be 0, 0. Image width will be, we need to divide it by the pixel size. This is a simple logic that we are applying. And for the height, image.height, we again need to divide the height by pixel size. So whatever is the value, we'll divide this, and then we need to set this property of image smoothing enabled. So this property we need to set it to false, and then again we need to draw this image on the canvas by using the draw image function. And this time the coordinates will slightly differ. The x coordinate, y coordinate again will be 0, 0, but image by height, width, height, we will divide this by this value pixel size. And this is the one condition if the user has selected the pixel slider. If the user has selected the blur slider, if they want to blur the image, in that case, if the blur amount is greater than 0, in that case now we need to apply the blur effect. For applying the blur effect, we need to set a property or a filter inside context. This filter is the blur filter, so you simply say blur, and here we need to specify the value. So whatever is the value coming, which is the blur amount, we can, and here we can simply say pixel. This is actually a property in CSS. You can directly write here, pass the value in the blur function. It will actually blur your image. So after it blurred the image, we just need to draw this image on the canvas again by using draw image, x coordinate, y coordinate, 0, 0, and then the filter. So filter will be none. So you just need to set this. And now in the else block, if neither of these filters selected, in that case we don't need to put any effect on the image. So we just need to draw the original image. So if either of these filters are not selected, then don't change the image at all. That's all. So if you just refresh your application and choose your image now and just click on the apply effects, you will now see as we selected the blur slider, it actually blurred the image. You can just increase the slider value and it will even blur the image more. And now the pixel size we can't change because only at a one time you can only change blur or pixel. Let's suppose I don't want to blur the image, I reset the blur slider. Now if I can change the pixelate slider, if I change this value, now you can see the image is pixelated. So now both the sliders, both the functionalities are working. Now we need a simple download button so that we can download the output image. So for downloading this image, we just need to have a download button. So we have actually to specify this download button just after this. So we have a row. So this success download button will basically bind a on-click event handler. So we need to execute this function download image. So just declare this function, which is download image. So this will be very simple. In this function, we will simply create first of all, get the reference of the canvas. So canvas ref current, and then we'll actually create a dynamic anchor element. We will simply say link dot download edited image dot png, and then link.href will be, we need to convert this into a base64 URL. So for this, we will using this function canvas to data URL. This is a very famous function, and here to specify not to the extension of this image.png, and then we need to simply click the link dynamically. That's all. So if you refresh now and select the image, click the download button. Now if you see, your image is successfully downloaded. It is blurred. If you want to pixelate it, again the image is downloaded. So all the source code will be given in the description of this video. Thank you very much for watching this video, and do check out my website as well, freemediatools.com, which contains thousands of free tools regarding audio, video and image. And I will be seeing you in the next video.